Well, good Monday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. Man, I'm messed up this morning because I don't have my morning coffee. I've got a physical in about an hour from now, so I have to fast. And you know me and my coffee and the way I've been burning the midnight oil. I need that coffee bad. And we got to do a road trip today because I'm going to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to pick up some lime plaster for the red brick house. So it's going to be another crazy, crazy day. But today is a very, very important day because today is the beginning of off-season voluntary workouts. Now, let's be clear here. Yeah, they're called voluntary workouts, but if you want to be put in the doghouse, don't show up for voluntary workouts. Yeah, you want to get together and definitely do that. And the Cowboys are in a great position because, see, they don't actually have to put workout bonuses in the contracts because a lot of guys, you know, like in Green Bay, a lot of the guys that play in Green Bay don't live in Green Bay. They're only there during the season and stuff. And so you have to put incentives for them to come back to do the workouts. That's not the case with the Cowboys. The Cowboys got to get it just right. Okay. Who messed with my football? It's going to annoy me. Hold up. I don't know who messed with the football. Forgive me there. You know, I am a creature of habit. Somebody turned the light off on it. And that's probably why the football went up there. Okay. It's bad enough I don't have my coffee. The Cowboys are fortunate because almost all their players live in the Dallas Metroplex area. And they're gym rats. And they love to get together, hang out, and do so much and develop as a team. And in fact, Dak Prescott has been working out at his house. And it's just amazing that no matter what you have to say about Dak Prescott, because you say, hey, he's got a practice field in his backyard. He's getting together with the players and everything else. And so people will say stupid shit like, oh, you give him credit because he's got a practice field in his backyard. Yeah, actually I am. Because if you're looking at a situation like the Jets right now who don't know who their quarterback's going to be, if it's going to be Aaron Rodgers or not, the Cowboys have been having Dak and his receivers have been working together and looking at a guy like Jalen Tolbert, the opportunity to turn around the narrative on him. Yeah, actually, I said that is a big thing. As much as people want to talk about Dak Prescott is not this and Dak Prescott's that and so on, Dak has been a really good quarterback. They're going to focus in on Dak Prescott's interceptions, but the reality is Dak is ninth all time in interception percentages. Ninth all time, as in least. So, you know, it's kind of crazy, the narrative that you get from the talking heads and stuff. But we're counting down to the draft. We've got 9 days before we'll be headed, me, Primetime, Game Time, David Wiley, and DMV headed up there. Can't wait to see Jay Tuck, as well as seeing our buddy Randy Seitz, and see the NFL draft and hopefully the Dallas Cowboys' future stars. The Dallas Cowboys have been money in the first round of the draft, especially since Will McClay became the head of scouting. It's almost insane when you think about this. In the 22 drafts of the 2000, that the Cowboys, I believe they ended up not having first-round picks 5 of those years, so that means it's 17 years, that they have 14 Pro Bowlers out of that 2000s in the first round. Tyler Smith is potentially one of those that could make it 15 out of the 17. That's pretty damn good. And when you think about since 2010, let's go through this. Des Bryant, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, Byron Jones, Zeke Elliott, Taco, we got a soft taco, unfortunately, Leighton Vander Esch, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, and then Tyler Smith. We've done butter in the first round. The second round, not so much. And this is where the Cowboys really hope to improve and to do better than what we've done. We've been better the last couple of years than we have been overall, and hopefully that trend will continue. Hopefully we'll see Sam Williams, turn around and become, great this year, getting more of an opportunity and things. But we've had some real duds in the second round. Since 2010, we got Sean Lee. Sean Lee was a great player. Unfortunately, his knees just couldn't hold up, his knees and his hamstrings. Bruce Carter, Gavin Escobar, rest his soul. DeMarcus Lawrence, that's one of your good ones. Randy Gregory, flashes, never reached any potential. You can't say that Randy Gregory was ever really that showstopper or game changer for us. Randy Gregory was more headaches than it was worth. Jalen Smith, we had one good year out of. Awuzie, we got the great speech at the draft intro for him, but, he was okay. Connor Williams, okay. Tristan Hill, that was one of those ones that you looked at and said, Diggs, lights out. Kevin Joseph, boss man fat, and Sam Williams. And I think the problem with the second round has been, this is my personal take, and you can kind of say maybe this is the case, maybe it's not. But I feel like the Cowboys really do their homework and go all in on that first round pick. They know those guys well. You can't argue. I doubt that anybody's got a better first round draft pick record than the Cowboys. The second round, I feel like the Cowboys feel great about the first round pick, and they gamble with the second. They gamble with guys that could have been first round picks if X hadn't happened, if they weren't injured coming out. You know what I mean? You could look at players like Sean Lee that had injury history and things like that, and you take him. You can look at Randy Gregory, who fell from the first round because of smoking weed. You could look at Jalen Smith, who had the catastrophic knee injury, and so on. And you look at that and they say, yeah, we want a first round player, but we want it at the second round price. And they gamble on that and take a guy that's got some issues. I hope that they don't do that this year. I hope that they just literally go out and just say, we're going to get the best, healthy, non-issue player in the second round. Because this is the difference of being that Super Bowl team. To me, when you go into a draft, what you need is you need an instant impact player in the draft. A guy who day one is a starter and makes your team better. You need a second starter out of the draft. You need role players out of the draft, and you need a special team standout. If you do that in a draft consistently every year, you've done your job. You've done fantastic, because dealing with the NFL draft, it's a crapshoot. You just don't know. And it doesn't matter if you're a first-round pick or a second-round pick, and all these people seem to think that, if you're drafting the first round, automatically you're guaranteed you're going to be great, especially when it comes to quarterbacks. But that's not the case. It's really not. It is a crapshoot. So today, again, the Dallas Cowboys getting back in, working out together as a team for the first time. It will be great to see them coming out of the Star, all hot and sweaty and everything else, working out and stuff and getting ready for the season. And let you know that it's not that far away. So let's go through and let's listen to ESPN and Dan Orlowski with a little bit of the draft about Bijan Robinson, a guy who some people seem to think that the Cowboys would be drafting.
for the NFL draft. Wow, this graphic is one I did not anticipate this morning. Okay, Dano, Bijan Robinson is in the top 10. Tell me more.
Yeah, number one, I have been arrested. Number two, someone is going to do the no-no of cooking with mushrooms. Someone is going to take Bijan Robinson, a running back, in the top 10. Two teams I could see doing it, the New England Patriots and or the Los Angeles Chargers. He reminds me a little bit of Jamal Charles long ago for the Kansas City Chiefs, a tremendous player. I've heard people say he's the next LaDainian Tomlinson. He's that talented a player, top 10. Minnesota Vikings in the first round are going to take a quarterback. Here's the reality for their situation with Kirk Cousins. He's a good quarterback, and they have a good football team with him. But if a player like Hendon Hooker or somehow a Will Levis falls to them, they can get out of his contract the next season, Kirk Cousins that is, and reset their financial market and try to become a better and or greater version of themselves. Eventually, this organization has to pay Justin Jefferson, and he's a pretty darn expensive quarterback trying to do that. The Tennessee Titans will go up and draft a quarterback. I look at this new regime. Rand Carthon, their new general manager, comes over from San Francisco. I could see them going up and getting a player like Anthony Richardson. Remember, a couple years ago, they went up in the draft to number 3 to go draft a little bit of a talented project in Trey Lance. Now, it hasn't worked out because he hasn't stayed healthy, but he's going to want to go put a little bit of his own spin on this roster that's been a good football team with a good quarterback, and they need to go get great in the AFC.
Whew. All right, then. You got a lot there. I'm so fascinated by how you feel about these quarterbacks because now we're being told that this draft may or may not be strong. But whatever. Good stuff, Dano. Love that. All right. Speaking of your predictions, we're going to see how they pan out because the draft is just 13 days away, a little less than 2 weeks. And speaking of quarterback prospects, though, Ryan Clark, he came on our show earlier this week and he talked heavily about the potential of #1 overall pick, Bryce Young.
If you've watched college football for the last 2 years, the dude is Houdini. If Bryce Young is 2 inches taller, we're speaking of him like Joe Burrow. We're speaking of him like Trevor Lawrence. He's going to get picked apart and critiqued going through this process because of his size. But when you cut the film on, there is no dude in this entire draft like him.
All right, well, RC, he could be onto something with those comparisons. Over the past decade, Joe Burrow and Young have the 2 highest touchdown totals in a season when they're pressured. And the only other QB to have as many career touchdowns with fewer picks under pressure than Young is Trevor Lawrence. So those are some interesting names to compare him to. All right, Teddy, should Bryce Young go #1?
Yeah, well, RC is right. I mean, if you sure, add a few more inches and add 25 more pounds, and then you're talking a prototype. Now, but there is no prototype in this draft in terms of #1 overall selection, size, speed, arm, accuracy, the ability to create all those things that quarterbacks want. There isn't. So what do you have to do? This goes into the desperation
204
which
pounds.
have when it comes to the quarterback position. Bryce Young is the #1 overall prospect, in my opinion, also at the quarterback position. And here's the reason why I have that and why I think Carolina should take him. It's because defenses, when we game plan, all we do is game plan to break down the structure of a play, to break down the structure of what a quarterback, what Orlovsky would call in the huddle. That specific play, we are coached to break that down, to end that play. So what happens when we accomplish that, okay? Now the play becomes the quarterbacks. It becomes Mahomes' creativity. It becomes Burrow's. It becomes Allen's. It becomes Bryce Young's. Does he have the ability to do that better than anyone else in the draft? Absolutely. I think he does have that, and that's what makes him somewhat special.
If you're Carolina, you take Bryce Young. Now, you live with a little regret of not taking Anthony Richardson because what he potentially become, but you take Bryce Young, and it's because the #1 thing that you need to have as a quarterback to become great over an extended period of time in the NFL, what do you do with the ball in moments of panic? What do you do with the ball in moments?
All right, well, I'm just happy that the Cowboys don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback. All right, good people, it's going to be a busy, busy day as always. We'll be bringing you any news that is with the Dallas Cowboys. As always, I appreciate you guys.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is